Welcome to the Faith in the Wild podcast, where the path is rarely straight, but always sacred. I'm Nicole Moran.
And I'm Angelica, McCarthy. For 20 years, we've been walking this journey of life together, stumbling, rising, and discovering God's presence in unexpected places.
Today, we're creating space for conversation and reflection, inviting you to venture into the wilderness with us, because sometimes the most profound truths are found when we step off the marked trails and trust that we're exactly where we need to be.
So take a deep breath, open your heart, and join us as we explore what it means to have faith in the wild. Hi, friend.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you today?
Happy season 2.
It was so great to see that text this morning when you sent that.
I know, I was pumped.
It's like Christmas, huh?
Uh-huh. Yeah, I mean, it's just like we're back at it and just excited, right? It's like game day. I don't know that.
Well, yeah, the excitement of game day is very real. I can sense that in my soul. So,
yeah.
Hi everyone who's listening and who's now going to be watching us. We're putting our faces out here to say hello, and we've got good faces, so I think
we do exist.
Yes, we do exist.
We do exist.
No,
AI voices.
We are excited to be in season 2.
Mm-hmm.
And we've been doing some brainstorming for a couple weeks now as to where do we go after season 1 from where we ended. We ended with evolution. How do we evolve Faith in the Wild podcast? And what did we come up with, Nicole? Why don't you tell everybody what we came up with?
Yeah, really excited to finally talk about what we've been working on, which is an 11-week, I would say it's like an 11-week journey, going through how we're showing up in different aspects of our lives and walking alongside of you through this. Mainly through how we're defining faith over fear, and how we're showing up is really kind of the through line of the next 11 weeks. And we'll be talking about everything from, surrendering to, courage to a few other fun things that you'll just have to keep listening to talk about. But one of the really cool things that I want to make mention early on in this first podcast is we have a guide. If you want to think about it like a guide, me going back to my sports analogies, like a playbook for the next 11 weeks. And it's really a devotional reflection guide through this 11 weeks, this season. What did I say? Season 2. So each week we're going to review like different reflection questions and kind of journey through our topics of each week through this really cool devotional guide that we put together. So hopefully you're able to grab that as we're working through this. It gives some open journal space, but excited to have that out for you.
Yes. And one thing about that as to why we wanted to offer that is because we feel the how are you showing up is the thing that we're always asking ourselves, the how, and what is that call to action of your faith in action. And our general theme that we found was we're working hard. We are in the middle, in the gray, with faith over fear. Of all these things on the journey that we're navigating right now and we're transitioning through, and God is guiding us through the uncomfortable moments. There's a lot of fear, there's a lot of doubt, there's a lot of inconsistency, there's a lot of, before we even recorded, I was judging myself. So there was judgment, there was lack of grace. So many things can show up, and that's where we said that faith in action, faith over fear. How do we speak about that? Because it's not just one episode. It's not going to be just this first episode. It's our faith can show up as courage, like Nicole said. It can show up as love, and or that fear can show up as discontent. It can show up as so many different things. So we're really excited to offer this next phase, and for it to be a call to action, not only for ourselves of how we can show up, but hopefully how, if there's something that resonates with you, that how you can show up as well. So
Yeah.
with that, should we dive into faith over fear?
Oh, we should. What a topic to start out with.
Whew. If you all would have seen us before we recorded, and
Oh,
by
yeah.
us, I mean Angelica,
I was there too.
it was just like we haven't done this before is what it
I
felt
know.
like.
It's interesting kind of like starting off season 2, and I was reflecting on like starting off the season 1, episode 1. Um,
Yeah.
it's a different type of nerve. I don't know if it's like, and I was thinking of how I define fear and how that how when I think about that word, how I define it, it's almost like I kept going back to the different seasons of life, how fear looks a little different. And that's kind of how I feel like even jumping into this episode. Like my nerves are a little bit different than they were the first episode, first season. But in all the good ways, right? In all of the ways of growth. Um, and I always, go back to it's like what he says is like iron sharpens iron. Like you just
Yeah.
like got to get in the ring. And I'm a large Brene Brown fan, and she has been on my feed lately.
She's
Uh,
been on mine. Did you see her new book that's out?
no.
Oh, we'll talk about
Okay.
that off
Okay. I was like, but we
offline.
need to. But the biggest one is like the Theodore Roosevelt quote with Man in the Arena. And so I'm really excited for this next season for everybody to walk with us, and honestly for my friend and I, Angelica, to walk through this together as well as individually, because we're going to go through it with you. And so when I was thinking about fear, I was thinking of seasons. Like, when you're a little kid, you're like scared of the dark. If you're Nicole, you're still scared of the dark. Right? But like thinking how I define fear, I was like, how do I feel when I'm like scared of the dark, right? It's the unknown. It's the like, is somebody watching? Is somebody gonna hurt it like physically or mentally, or like, is there gonna be pain in some way? And I don't know about you, but I went to the analytical mind, Angelica.
Mm-hmm. We always do. It's okay.
I looked up the Oxford definition of fear.
You have to.
Can I
You
read
have
that?
to.
Can I read
Please
it to
do.
you?
Please read it for us, all of us. You
Okay,
have to.
Oxford defines fear. An unpleasant emotion, emotions, my favorite, caused by the belief that someone or something is dangerous, likely to cause pain, or a threat. And I was like, I feel all those things in the dark.
Mm.
And sometimes life feels that way, right? Like it's actually daytime, but you feel a little bit in the dark. And so um, that was kind of how I started exploring how do I actually define fear, and how does that you know, then jumping into how it shows up. But how do you define fear, friend? Like when you're
Well,
feeling stuff.
I would say that my first sense of defining it is how it shows up
Okay.
in me, of what is my response to it. Because I don't know, maybe it was maybe episode 2 of the first season where we were kind of grazing the surface of fear a little
Mhm.
bit. And I think I remember saying, I don't feel fearful.
Yes, I remember that conversation.
Well, in the past couple of weeks, Homegirl's been digging. She's fearful of a lot of shit. She's just pushing it to the side. Excuse my language. I meant it though. Um, and the why behind it is where I've been digging. But to define it, for me, I feel like it's hard to define because I think I have been pushing it down or
Mm,
pushing it to the side so much that in the end it's in coming back to what is the action in how I'm not showing up, as to
mm.
trying to define it that way. Um, and there's a lot of things.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things. But in the response of it, how am I showing up? I looked up, fight, flight, freeze.
Mm,
That's where my brain always goes
okay.
is, and sometimes I would say more often than not, I freeze. That's that pushing things to the side, like Even if I feel like it's not stunting my growth or stunting my movement, in the end, I'm fearful of movement. It's molasses in a way, and you don't realize it's molasses until you look down and you're like, whoa, or maybe not even quicksand because that's too
Yeah.
quick, but it's it's thick, it's heavy.
So your response when you think about fear is the fight where people would just like come at me, bro.
Right. I'm gonna react on a drop of a dime at you or towards it or whatever it may be.
And then flight is more, I feel like that's like a more passive response. Like you're just like, I can't
Yeah.
even it can kind of in any move through it. I'm not even gonna acknowledge it. Am I defining that correct?
Well, I think flight is more so of
Like a
I'm just
withdrawal?
gonna withdraw or run away from
Okay.
it. Like it's
Like a
there
runaway.
is
Like
no
a,
addressing it.
yeah.
I'm choosing the opposite direction.
And then freeze.
Freeze is kind of in the middle, getting stuck between it all.
Interesting.
You know.
That's interesting that you say freeze is your response because I wrote down paralysis by analysis.
Yep. I do
on,
that too. You watch me
on
catch on my words. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
and so that when you said freeze, I was like, oh, again, this is why we're friends.
Yeah. For me, if I think about it now, as we're talking about it,
Yeah.
it's because I'm an observer and I'm a people pleaser.
Yeah.
I'm a recovering people pleaser. So in that sense, to freeze is to make sure that everyone is either taken care of or I'm taking into consideration all things
Yeah.
surrounding me. But wait, I haven't even checked in on Angelica to see what she thinks
Yeah.
or what she believes or what she's feeling. So then that falls into inaction or whatever it may be
Yeah. And you said,
because I'm so worried about everybody and everything else.
what is a recovering people pleaser? How do you define that?
I'm so aware of it whenever I get into those moments that I actually, in that awareness, I can make a different decision, a better choice that actually considers me first
Yeah.
from it's not selflessness or selfishness, or it's not selfishness.
Yeah.
It can still be selfless, or maybe actually it needs to be, this is what Angelica needs. It can be a boundary. It can be a
Yeah. I love it. I love that word boundary. Keep that
something
one
that
around.
actually supports what needs to be supported for my self-care and well-being,
Yeah, I love
because
that.
the people pleaser in me easily just, what is Angelica, just open up all the doors and let out all the love and compassion and care to everybody to make sure
Yeah.
everybody's good, and then I'm dehydrated on the side of the street, so
Yeah. It goes back, that reminds me of the like called a bucket analogy that you were
yeah.
giving, right? It's like it's okay, and I loved that, and so I'll repeat that if nobody caught that in the first season, and please correct me if I'm wrong, Angelica, because I just love this. I love this analogy is right. So like we can't fill others' cups with anything if our cup is empty,
Yes.
right? And so we have to focus on how we are filling our cup and what needs to be inputted in there to be able to overflow to give to others, whether that be relational, whether that be for work, whether that be our community or whatever you have next. And I think over these last weeks, as we've come into this season, it's been a lot of uh, a lot of thoughts in a lot of different directions, and we can call them fears, right? Those
Yeah.
anxieties, those insecurities, those self-doubts, the overwhelmed,
Yes.
those all of those feelings that feel very heavy. And the difference now is instead of holding it, like you guys can see me now, right? So instead of holding that all and wearing all of that, it's now being able to practice the act of giving it to God because He can handle it all.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, what was I gonna say? I forgot what I was gonna say. Like, highlight of it all is he can handle it all a lot better than I can. Which is just really cool to know, and I think to explore and really what that is. And then also over the last few weeks, and especially the last few days coming into today, that's spent some time in those spaces.
Yeah, that's so key. And for me, I know that that's a daily reminder
Yeah,
that, okay, he can take it.
you can take
He
it all.
just give it up. And I think it's also in being open to receive on the other end of it. Like
Hmm,
give that away so you can be open to receive what he's trying to show you or what he's trying to guide you today,
I like
if that
that.
makes sense.
I think it does. Can we go a step further with that?
Let's.
How do you do that? Right? Because I mean, this season's really that call to action, that faith in action. Like how do I if I get to the because it takes practice,
Sure
right?
does.
To open that up and give that to him, action through prayer or just talking to him. And to me, I'm a visual person. I talk with my hands, so God, I do a lot of hand like talking with our hands. But on the other end of that is how do you stay open to that within patience and within your daily practices? How do you do that?
It's one through prayer, like you just said,
Hmm.
and it is in the consistency of it because I can't even, it took me however long to even just really believe the sense of surrender,
Mhm.
to believe what he believes about me, to
Hmm.
believe about everything.
Hmm.
It took me a long time to really, really dig deep into that. And so, in the sense of the openness, I'll give you an example of how I did it today, this morning. Of it was in prayer through devotional, and it's for me everything is an embodied sense. So it's in coming back to self, and it starts with breath
Hmm.
and connecting to my heart,
Hmm.
chest, heart chakra area, and sensing and feeling that sense of openness. And from that space, if I can't, are there things that I'm holding on to? Are there things that I'm on my mind? Am I worried? And it could be excitement too. It could be future things, new beginnings, new plans, all these things that I'm looking to do. It's just as much that as it is the heavier emotional type things that molasses that I'd rather get rid of. We were talking about that imposter syndrome before we started recording, and I've been feeling that imposter syndrome, even though now it's like I don't really care to believe about it, but it likes to regurgitate. It likes to come back up and be like, oh, and it's like, okay, well, what am I not believing about myself?
Hmm.
Um, so it's in letting go of that, and it's the sense of, okay, I'm here, Lord. And that's the openness that's the how that I do it.
Yeah, I appreciate you opening up. I think
Yeah.
this topic, even going back to the first season as we were talking through this, it is uncomfortable. If this is the first time you guys are listening, I don't like to talk about emotions.
No, she
Uh,
doesn't. You're doing so much better though.
yeah, and I think yeah, we talk about practice, right? Practice, not the game, practice AI. But I had to. I just couldn't help myself. I just can't help myself. But it's when you talk about faith over fear and then actually trying to identify where your fear is to insert faith, like to allow it to show up in that area of your life is really hard. It's really hard because sometimes it does get a little comfortable being uncomfortable in your anxieties or being overwhelmed. There almost becomes like a normal, weird, like normal equilibrium state, right? Where you're trying to balance all of the things. Um, and there is no balance between all of the things in life because we don't know what's coming next. We don't know what's coming in the next hour. So it makes it really challenging to be able to balance all the things. And everybody who's listening now, we all have lots of things to balance, and we have those reactions to them. And I know for myself, um, things highlighted where some of my fears are once I got married. Because when you're single and you're doing your own thing, people aren't exposed to those parts of you. You're not as open and vulnerable until you're married and living with somebody. Um, they get to see all parts of you.
And
And
as you're figuring it out, they're like right there
yeah,
next to you
like
as you're
what's going
figuring it out.
on? Yeah, and Zach and I have had some really real conversations because there's been a lot of growth between both of us since we've been married and had kids and just doing life together. And as life evolves, we all change. We change with seasons, and it's not negative or meaning that growth has to happen. It just we all adapt as we get a little older, and some of those for me, some of those fears show up in those changes.
Mm.
And I am somebody who likes change, but as I keep saying that, I think I might not as much as I thought I did.
I wrote that down yesterday too.
Tell me more.
I I pride myself on liking change. Like
Yeah.
change is essential.
Yes.
It's good. And that's where the imposter part is coming in too, as I was writing about that.
Interesting.
Yes.
Is it change or is it like adaptability? Do change and adaptability mean the same thing to you?
No.
Right. I don't know why I like the word adaptability more these days.
Well, because
Oh.
it's not, I think it's a very holistic word, adaptability versus change. Like change feels left
Yeah.
or right. Like change needs to happen. If you think about where the world is, change needs to happen versus the adaptability is to have grace, is to have that sense of, we don't, it's when how you were talking about balance too. It's
Mhm.
like to achieve balance, not really, but when you said that, I felt the word anchored. So if
Ah,
you're anchored,
yeah.
then however the boat is rocking with the waves, that's what it is. But you're
Yeah.
anchored though, you know. So that adaptability is the waves.
Yes. That paints a much better picture than I was getting at. But yes, that's it. I
Yep.
mean, that's it. And so diving into this a little bit more, again, coming from the analytical side, it's like, okay, how am I defining fear in general? And then how am I defining it within my life?
Yeah.
Um, it's uh control. Control always shows up.
Yeah.
Control always shows up. I feel a sense of needing to control things or anticipate the scenarios to be able to feel, because I know I'm not in control of it, right?
Yeah.
I know that, but I feel like there's a place where I try to keep a hold, right? Very closed fist. Again, you're watching us now. You can see
Yeah,
all
you
of these
can.
actions. Oh yeah. You can see this part of the conversation. And that's where I've been digging in, I would say, over these last like 8 months of us meeting and moving through this podcast and exploring the vulnerability parts and the emotional responses of these words, faith and fear and um, all those things. And that's real for me. That is something that I fear is that loss of that.
Mm. Can I
But
ask
then,
you a question in
yeah,
relation to that?
please.
Because we have to have a sense or a certain layer or level of control.
Okay.
So whenever you are speaking to control, are you speaking to the external parts of control that we can't necessarily, that are unrealistically, unreliably, that we can't hold on to? Or is this like the deepest, rootest sense of even control for self? Because I feel like the layer of self-control, we have to have it. That's the agency within us. That's the courage, the I can, the I am, but to what extent, that may be a little, I don't know if that question makes sense.
I think you're giving it a different, I think, level, right? Or layers, or
Yeah.
I think about it on like if you're looking at like a spectrum, right? So it's a surface
Mm-hmm.
layer thing, like I need control over my schedule, or I need control over whatever that scenario is, or is it like deep rooted in self-control, like down working into our soul? I think it falls somewhere in the middle,
Yeah.
honestly. I would say I think there's a lot that I do have high trust. There's been things that um we all have a past, and we all have things that have showed up that were out of our control, whether it be health related, loss is always a big thing that's out a lot of times out of our control, but we have a response to. Um, I will say kids, it is glaring. Not only, I think from a surface level thing, being married, trying to control our schedules is very challenging, but a deep rooted having kids or having the responsibility of others, um, that's a deep rooted fear of letting go of some of those things. You know, I think about it as I'm like, I still have babies, pretty much. I call them babies, but I'm like, do I let them go outside by themselves? Right? Just
Yeah.
that control of safety.
Yeah.
Um, school is one thing that I'm like, oh, we gotta embark on that.
They're
And
almost
and
there.
all that thing, right? Like, which is such a positive thing. But again, there's a control aspect of like what it is. Like, I feel like I need to keep them safe, or I need to do these things where it's like, no, God's got their back. Like he is in all these situations, and I am just kind of like a pillar of hoping to guide them within their life. I don't know
It
where I'm going
makes
with that,
me
but
it makes me curious because you said safety twice.
Mhm.
It makes me curious of, is it more so safety than it is control?
I don't know. I think that's just the topic that I'm talking about right now.
Yeah.
I think you can give it a title of control, because but I think if we continue to go down, it might be. And I think there's
Yeah.
some I need to definitely explore that,
Yeah.
which I'm hoping through the next 11 weeks we do.
We
Um,
definitely will.
which is really cool, because I think we'll talk on a bunch of other topics, but that, when I think about one thing that shows up in my life that seems to be a common theme that I respond in a fearful way towards, it's the lack of control.
Mm-hmm.
So if I had to define that for myself today, that would be how I would do it.
Mm. Thank you for sharing that.
Feels
Because
great.
that's does it feel great? Or are you just saying
No,
that?
I'm just saying that. This doesn't feel great. How does this, like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. It
No,
doesn't. It's uncomfortable.
thank you for not sugarcoating it too.
I'm just
Because
gonna sip my coffee for a sec.
yeah, well, do that because the if we if we do the seven whys, like why the lack of control? We don't have to do it here, but why? And then that's why I'm curious of the word safety, because if we go back to Angelica's molasses feeling, the
Mm-hmm.
movement, I'm subconsciously doing this. I'm not actively doing this. The or consciously doing this, the sense of change or movement, or to take that first action, that first
Mm-hmm.
step, and believe that I can do it. I can believe that I believe that I can do. I believe what God believes about me. Depending on what it is, though, there still is that small little disconnect
Mm.
as to why I feel like there's air and space.
Mm-hmm.
Or actually, let me put it this way, that there isn't the circuitry there that connects to say we have power.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. So there's like that space. There's a disconnect. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
And that disconnect, that is what I figured out. I wrote it here,
mm-hmm.
is safety.
Interesting.
I'm safe where I am. That's the comfort. We've talked about it many times before too. That comfort and that safety and that security. Even though everything in me and my soul and my heart is like, let's leap of faith it and let's fly our wings like a bird.
Yeah.
Nelly Furtado, I'm like a bird. Let's just,
Oh yeah,
and I
girl.
love that song too. So everything in me from here, from my chest up, is like, let's go. But my feet, no, it's not even my feet. Yeah, maybe it's my legs from my pelvis down. That they're
Hmm.
the circuitry is not as it's like you know how you cross the circuits and it just makes that little bit of like
Yeah.
there's energy there, but it's not locked in.
Yeah.
And it's because of I believe for me it is safety.
Safety.
Even though everything here is and here
Hmm.
is relative of it's starting to get real uncomfortable.
Hmm.
So there's only one way to make it comfortable to take the action, but the circuitry is we're still working on it. We're still putting the power together.
Can I ask you, what is it to make it like what is that next step for you?
I honestly have no idea. And I believe
Fair.
that's why I'm still struggling, I believe.
Hmm.
And there's grace in that struggle.
Right.
I give myself grace with that.
Yeah.
Um, because I'm relying on vision
Yeah.
and not on faith
Hmm.
and trust.
And trust and
So that
surrender.
has layers and levels to it too. I'm saying all these things and I
Yeah.
continue to say them and I continue to like it's that process of
It
continuing
is.
to just chip away at it because willpower doesn't work for me. It
Hmm.
does for a hot second and then I get depleted and lose the energy and lose the diligence and
Yeah.
the sense
D-
of the energy
Yeah.
behind it, you know.
Can we talk through that for a second? Because I think
Yeah.
that is a key topic that I foresee this coming up again is the that we want to will ourselves to do something. Like we are, and I think we are both very determined, high striving individuals. Why do you think that's not enough? Why do you think that's not enough?
What, the willpower isn't
Yeah,
enough?
the willpower. Why do you think that won't work? And what do you think will?
Well, the what I've been working on a lot and writing on a lot lately is truth.
Mm,
What is essentially true um as to why I'm doing something. And the willpower only gets so far because if it starts to fall off, that means that maybe this isn't actually it. You
yeah.
thought it was it, but what else? Um, yeah, for me, it's always an embodied sense. So I can feel my solar plexus, gut area, and if I'm not feeling it there and it's not attached to my heart, then yeah, at this stage of my life it doesn't work anymore. Willpower doesn't work. It worked back in the day because I wasn't as present or aware of of the essence and purpose of why of what he's calling me to do or who he's calling me to be, actually, not
Mhm.
what to do. And I think maybe that's the issue with willpower too, is the doing
Okay.
instead of the being.
Well, I like that. I like that. That's I did want to give a disclaimer earlier that we have not talked before right now with
No.
what we're going to speak about, and so that's interesting that there's a lot of alignment, um, in some of the things that we're highlighting here. I will say one kind of along those same lines when it comes to like willpower, and then the other aspect I give is faith, right? Um, truth, his truth and who he's calling us to be, and opening up to those things that to me feels very much outside of my, I shouldn't say out of my comfort zone, but out of my control zone because
Mm-hmm.
it very much is. And I think one of these things right now in this season of my life, that God is we're working on something together because it's a daily practice, but the things that I have on my plate, right? So all of the beings that make up my week, which are all such a blessing to have in my life, and I definitely see those things. There's such light into all of the work that he has opened me up to do. But when I, Nicole, look at all of the buckets, I go right into the fear, right? Because I go right into the words that I described fear, right? So it's the anxiety, the overwhelm, the self-doubt, the all of the things, because I can't do it without my faith and without his truth of who he is working me to be in this life.
Yep.
And I am so thankful for being able to open my hands to that practice. It's not perfect by any means, but to that practice because I'm so excited about everything that he has put on my plate right now to be able to uh, learn through, right? And that's learning to trust through the control, right? So I need to give it to him. I needed to give it to him because I can't, right? That I don't have enough willpower. I
Yeah.
like to think I'm very good at a lot of things. Can't do it all. And I think saying and talking about those things to myself, and that's how when I talk about grace and giving myself grace or giving grace to somebody else, that's what I mean. It's because we don't know how somebody else is showing up with all of the buckets that they have behind the conversation that you're having.
Yep.
So when I say I give grace, that is actively what I am doing because I don't know what somebody else is carrying. They don't know what I'm carrying. I know also what I'm carrying, and I need to give it to myself because through him, all things are possible. And how he defines me and who is calling me to be is I can't even comprehend it at the moment, is where I'm at, honest to God.
Yeah. Ooh,
Can't.
so beautifully said. And I hope everyone heard the grace part. You don't know what other people are carrying. And I think it does come down to understanding what you yourself are
Mm,
carrying
yeah.
and the realization of the heaviness of it. And when we're always trying to hold on to it, how that continues to dig us farther, deeper into the ground versus that surrender, letting go, giving it to the Lord. Like, just so he can give you some space, take that heaviness off of you to give you space to
Yeah.
actually you can do it, but it's through him who does all things. And
Yeah.
um
Yeah.
yeah, you are so capable of so many things, Nicole. You've already done so many things.
Mm.
And the beautiful part is what you just said of he's getting ready to do more. I don't even know what he's getting ready to do.
I feel like
I
I'm in
have these
training.
thoughts. What'd you say?
I feel like I'm in training right
Yeah.
now.
It's like I've got these ideas and thoughts, and he's just gonna, back to your picture that you like to always send me and post with the little girl with the little small baby teddy bear,
Uh-huh.
and he's coming in with this big, gigantic, huge teddy bear, or you always see the small bouquet versus the big bouquet of
Yep.
flowers. And yeah, I got chills just thinking about that. That's just some great, great, great
Yeah.
stuff. So
Yeah.
in this awareness,
Mhm.
Nicole, what would you say as you have come to this awareness of control
Mhm.
and the lack of it and how it makes you feel emotionally, how it
Mhm.
shows up, how you respond, what actions you are or aren't taking? What have you found with this new information that you have shared with us, shared with me in this space? And uh, within the challenge of it, how do you feel like you are showing up, that you do want to show up, who you want to be in that?
Yeah. I like this, and I like how we continuing this theme of like faith in action, this call to action, and it's really, I think it's I'm going back to that word adapt, man. Like it is, I like adapt and anchor right now. I like those.
Yeah.
Those
I'm gonna
are,
write that down because those are
and yeah,
good ones.
those are
Yeah.
good ones. I kind of, there's a question that I've been toying around and it's going off of, don't mind me asking another question from your question, but we'll get there.
Please
Um,
do. I
is
love
how
questions to questions.
it's like how is this this awareness, right? Which is really rooted in a fear. How am I, how does that affect my relationships? How does that affect the way that I show up to my kids, to my husbands, to my friends, to work, to all of the things on the plate that I step into? And being aware, you can almost self-identify and self-recognize it. So the way that I do, sometimes I can be a little more of the fight than flight in my responses. I can, I find myself getting more short or higher temper. I will say that out loud.
No
Um,
judgment.
it is what it is. We're working on it. But I think the awareness
Working on
through
it.
it is because that's a stress response too, right? Like even knowing that this isn't how I want to react, and it's because of wanting to keep some sort of control that I have built up in my mind that I need to have is just actually it's a lot. It's a lot. It's heavy. It's a large weight to carry for reasons that I don't need to. Like I wasn't made to do that. And I was made to give that to the Lord and give that and allow him to sit beside me, to walk beside me in those meetings or those conversations or those events. Um, and I will say the one thing that I've been actively working on that has literally been my faith in action is I write it down. So I do a lot of reflecting in writing. So I'm not a big like daily journaler, but in these moments, I almost need to get the words out of my head so then I can, or calling a friend as a soundboard. So finding soundboards, like safe spaces of friendship, um, to be able to get it out and then give myself the word pause has been a big word for me. So I know we talk about, the space, but also just pause, like just stop moving because we're in constant motion and I love being in constant motion and I will not change it, right? That's me trying to control it. I don't feel like that's going to change in my next part of the journey through him, but um, I think pause and being rooted in the rhythms of remembrance,
Mm. Bring it
uh,
back. Bring it back.
and then transparency and being able to apologize
Mm.
because I am not perfect, but I will show up every single day that I'm working on it. Um, so I'd say that's one thing in all of the aspects, whether it be the relationship with my husband, if I react to something that, you know, was not him, right? I have some other reaction and we happen to have a conversation and I jump in conversation or at work and I'm not listening as well as I normally listen.
Mm.
Um, just being able to recognize that to give myself pause, whether it's physically walking away from whatever the scenario is, just to give myself pause, recap, and then start again.
Yeah.
Does that
Well,
make
I
sense?
just want to reflect back to you that you said your relationships are safe spaces.
Hmm.
That word safety is coming up again.
Oh, look at you.
Sit with that because
Look at you.
I'm real curious for you with that
Are you?
word. Mm-hmm.
Well, I think I'm going to throw that question back to you.
Yeah, please
Not that
do.
one, but
Yeah.
how does it affect the way that you show up? So like your identified fear or those words that are rooted.
Yeah,
I'm
the
along with it.
if I see my inaction of taking that first step of as my fear, and if I would have to dig into the whys behind that, and I like I said, I do believe it's safety. Um, I think I need to go a little deeper it may be a deeper understanding outside of this space to really, maybe it isn't that one thing. And just in that same breath, too, maybe it's nothing at all. Like maybe I'm actually not fearful at all. Am I putting too much weight on all of this?
Maybe,
Could be.
maybe.
You talked about all of your buckets and the overwhelm, and yes, because we see the outcome, and the outcome isn't ours either, just as
Mm-mm.
much as we want that outcome of those buckets. And then we see the list of stuff underneath it, small little incremental outcomes that need to help achieve the big one.
Mm-hmm.
And so yeah, it's very interesting because I've been all of the above. I've been the Angelica that has the fear and doesn't think that she can do it. Whereas I'm on the other end of the spectrum, but there's that circuitry that still, that nervous system that still needs to understand that actually you are, yeah, it's safety for me.
Yeah.
That you are safe doing uncomfortable things. You are
Yes.
safe, and I've had hints of that in my life. Like
Mm-hmm.
I never would have thought in my life that I would be co-running a record label with my husband. Who does that?
It's
No,
pretty
Angelica's
cool.
life wasn't, she wasn't thinking of doing that.
Mhm.
And being able to do all of these things through it, and actually it's still in its infancy, figuring out what that really looks like and what that means. I mean, I've definitely had the cycles of, oh, okay, I don't know what it is, so let me put it off to the side, and then other things kick in. So and now it's full leap of faith into that.
Yeah.
And so maybe I already have been, and I'm just etching away at what those identifiers maybe saying. Or I saw something the other day.
Yeah.
Where was I? What was I doing? I think it was I think I was listening to Sarah Jakes Roberts podcast the other day, and she was
Okay.
talking about identity. Oh, maybe it wasn't her. Either way, I was watching something the other day that was talking about identity versus experience. And I
Yeah.
think half of it is getting out of releasing that identity of the things that um, maybe are latching on to a sense of this is a piece of Angelica, whereas actually those are just experiential things as to how I showed up in that moment, but it doesn't mean that I am that. And so whenever I say I'm a recovering
Yeah.
people pleaser, releasing that identity, and actually those are just experiences that I've had in my life that I chose to make that decision to please others versus checking in with myself. So just as much as my fear,
Yeah.
I'm speaking this out in real time. So I'm
I
just
love
like,
this.
I'm
I'm like,
throwing it, I'm spitting improv right
did you
now.
see me lean forward? Like, I'm in
Yes.
this for you. I'm excited for you.
Yes.
I'm very proud of you to being
Thank
open
you.
to all of the things that you have stepped into and where he's leading you, where he's
Yes.
leading you. It's yeah, right. So we're doing a study in Jeremiah. Have you familiar? So Jeremiah 1, 4 to 5. Um
Where did I
talks
see Jeremiah today?
oh he's gonna be your
I saw Jeremiah today.
did you?
Um, where did I see him today? Oh, in my priority list devotional, I think. Which one did you say you
So this is 1, 4 to 5, kind of just going through the start of the chapter and Jeremiah. I'm gonna give it just
go
a
ahead?
Cliff Notes version here, but how he's, God is calling him on to be a prophet of the nations, right? He's like, I have formed you even before you were flesh, right? Like even before you were born, I have formed you to do great things. Like I have formed you to do this. And his response is like an identifier. Wait, I'm too young, right? The guy's like, our pastors, he's like, God knows how old you are. Like, he gets it. He knows where you're showing up, but he's still there patiently waiting for us to just say yes, right? To give that control up, to walk with him, to be like, I got your back. Like, it's like, I will walk with you through anything that's going to be happening in the future. And I want to read one more thing to you.
Please.
Zach actually sent this to me, and I have to give him a shout out, but because I've been in this lane as well recently, and it's literally stop, period. Don't be afraid. You don't listen to them. You don't live for them. You don't answer to them. You live for him. That is, I mean, that goes back to purpose, right? That purpose driven, that aspect. We live for God. We are his children, and we don't live for others. We don't live for the media response. We don't live for these outwardly worldly opinions
Yep.
or ideas that we've put into our heads over the years and years that we've been conditioned to do. And it's really hard to break that circuitry that you're talking about.
Yep.
And so I know my hope in this is doing this work with you through with me, with you as my good friend and with others here and creating this community is we just continue to support the work that he is doing through all of us that we are able to touch and even through ourselves because it is great work, right? It is great work that's going to happen.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean it's easy,
No.
but it is great works.
It's essential work too.
Mm.
Essential for sure. We are in a space, and we always have been since sin, but we're in a space where we are consumed by the things of the world, and to do this type of work is to give us that agency, that connection, that deeper understanding and knowing, and then we can really affect everybody else in which we embark and we engage with, that we build community with. So we love one another.
We do. We do. And proud. I'm proud of you and how you're showing up today if nobody's told you. Very much. All of you that I don't even know.
Yes.
You are loved.
Mm.
You really are. And appreciate, the time because value everybody's time and to walk these journeys with us. And hopefully we continue to open doors and open questions to continue to self-reflect. And I think the biggest one walking into this next week is how are we choosing faith over fear? Right? How are we actually choosing that this next week in my 9 a.m. meeting Wednesday morning, in my 4 p.m. meeting Wednesday evening, right? How am I going to continue to do that? Potty training a toddler, going to the grocery store on a Saturday. Seriously though, Saturday morning grocery shop.
Don't go on a Saturday morning.
No, I did.
Crazy.
I know, but like how?
But yes, I'm sorry I laughed so hard because in my mind I'm like, oh hell, we would not be going on a Saturday morning.
But bringing that to real life scenarios, right? Like in traffic when somebody cut you off, right? In that meeting you weren't anticipating those results, or that phone call from the doctor you weren't anticipating, or from your children at college that you weren't anticipating. There are any of these questions.
Yeah.
Because of the world that we're in today that we don't have control over.
Yep.
So faith has to show up. I know that's a bold statement.
Well, so also too, as you reflect that question back to our listeners, our viewers, our community, also too, if faith is an unknown entity, how can said person, what's that first thing that they can do to at least attempt to take action to find it or be in it or be it?
Is that a question for me? Because I'll have you to answer it.
Yeah.
I think one of the biggest thing is, and it doesn't have to be us, but message us. We'll pray for you and pray with you. I think finding, and I'll go back to those safe spaces, right? Whether that's your friend that you've been friends with and you can talk about anything with, your partner, a local church, whatever that list, and it's a laundry list. Those are the first couple I can think of right now. But even us, you don't even know us, but I can promise you we'll pray with you through it. I think that really needs to be a first step. Because you're not alone in it. You're not alone in it, and what that journey is, because it is a journey. Faith is a journey. It's okay to question it, and it's okay to um react in lots of different emotions towards it. And God will always show up consistently for you in whatever you bring to Him. I think the first act is just bringing it, bringing it. And then from there, a little bit of patience. Because remember, and I've talked about this, getting out of my timeline.
Right. Ugh. I had that reminder yesterday
Very
too.
hard to do. Very hard to do. But how about you? What does that look like to you?
You said it all.
Yeah.
The prayer is the first thing. I can remember specifically a moment of just feeling so just I didn't know what to do, what, the height of emotions and feelings and things not working out and the chaos of it all. And I remember asking my mom, I said, "What how do I speak?" It was even speaking to God. And she was like, "Just start speaking." So
Mama.
it is literally just if you need to find a person, place, or thing that gives you that space to to start speaking to Him, prayer, um, in whatever you need, just do it.
Yeah. It's just having a conversation. I actually just started thinking, I'm like, are we in the day and age that we can just be like text it, write it out in a notes, dictate it, like whatever you feel is your medium to talk. Like it doesn't have to be the formality of sitting in a quiet space, folding your hands. Like it can be hands up, hands down, hands like this.
I'm
People accept you
sure.
wherever you are. I
I'm
think that.
sure.
So I think that's always what it's rooted in, right?
Yeah,
Is prayer.
it is.
Prayer and staying open. And if you guys have been hanging around for the last few months with us and paying attention, praying to be able to pay attention to what He is saying. I think sometimes it gets hard because we get in our own way.
Yeah, and there's a lot of noise.
Hmm.
There's a lot of
Yeah.
noise.
So it is a journey, and we are here with you. We are here with us, kind of learning and growing through it. There's a couple quotes from this week that I wanted just to kind of say to this group, and I think I sent this to you, but um, statement of you are not late to anything. So like if this is the first time you're kind of thinking this way, it's some of the first times that I've been thinking this way. You're just learning, right? You're not late, you're learning, right? And you're learning that it's never too late to do that. And
No.
then the other one is you're not behind. You're not behind in whatever you're doing, and whatever that looks like for you. You're being built. He's building you. He is training you, right? When I talk about training, I'm being built for something that He is walking me into, that I am trying my hardest to pay attention to through faith, through prayer, through my community, through our community, my dear friend across the screen from me.
Across the screen. And as you say those things, like the weight just lifts off.
It does.
The buckets no longer feel like they are buckets that need attention, so much so that that's where the overwhelm, the timeline, the I need to be doing this at this time, all of that. That's everything in me just wants flow. And so how can I still be intentional though in that, and not get held up in my sense of fear of not moving forward, or
Right.
those small steps? So I really like anchored now. It's that anchor instead of balance. It's that anchored sense of okay,
Yeah.
of belief. It comes down to belief all the time.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. And I think for myself, just to round out this conversation for us, I go back to that little kid, right? Or still today, that's in a dark room, right? You're in that room, all the feels, like, come on, you know what you're feeling right now. That's where it's dark out. It's dark everywhere. You're in like corn stalks of Lancaster County with no, like, there's no street light.
No.
Like, that doesn't exist.
Did you see that moon last week, though?
Right.
Did you see the light of the moon?
But then faith is there's a light switch. There is light, right? There is light that will always come into the darkness in what you are. And I think my journey of faith is that, like, light switch is on. I am not fearful in that dark anymore because I know I'm not alone and God is with me. And so I think that's faith in action for me, is I am actively going to turn that. I'm not going to sit in that darkness when there's an answer to turn the light on. There's a light switch there, guys. There's a light switch on the wall. So that's the thought that I have kind of going into this next week as we work through our guide and ask those reflection questions and give some space to write it down if that's what you feel called for.
Yes. Also, too, if you want to share with us, please, we'd love to continue to have this conversation outside of obviously this recorded space. And you can find us on our website, faithinthewildpodcast.com. Share your testimonies if you so choose. And we're so here. Yeah. We are here to just hold space, create community. We want to invite you into that space. So please don't hesitate to join us in any way, whether on Instagram, our website. Subscribe, follow, share, all of the above. Don't and share.
And let me know what's the best day of the week to go to the grocery store.
Well, it depends on the grocery store. And when they have deliveries, that's what I find. But anyways, we are getting off topic.
But are we?
Not really.
But are we? This has been good. This was a tough episode. I know for myself, and appreciate my friend. I'm very proud of you and in the next. I'm proud of you for where your feet stand today. And I encourage you to be where they are today, because that's next step is coming.
Lord, do I know it? I'm feeling it. It's just taking that pause, as you were saying, and also that receiving too. It's like, all right, let's get rid of all the junk, because the junk is rattling. Let's create space, good space. And so I thank you for saying that. And I love you.
Love you too.
And I'm proud of you. You are just continue to share the hard, vulnerable stuff, tapping into emotions. You're doing it.
So fun.
It's good for you. So good for you.
So good. I always love our conversations.
Yes.
Until next week.
Until next week, we are going to dive deeper into a next topic of faith over fear. And
yes, we'll talk soon.
Yes,
and keep faith in action.
High five.
High five.
Love your life.
Love you.
Bye now. As we bring today's journey to a close, we invite you to carry these reflections into your own wilderness moments this week.
Remember that growth rarely happens in comfortable spaces. It's in the questions, the uncertainty, and yes, even the doubts, where we often discover the essence of ourselves and our faith.
We're so grateful to have you walking alongside us on this path. Until next time, may we trust the journey, embrace the wilderness, and find God in the wild spaces. This has been Faith in the Wild podcast. I'm Angelica McCarthy.
And I'm Nicole Moran. Thank you for listening.
High five. High five. Love your life.